I'm with Ben Shenton, President of the Channel Island Cooperative Society. The AGM, May the something or other, just after Liberation Day. A successful AGM?
Very successful. We've changed the format a little bit to try and make it a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more interactive, and I think it worked really well.
What interests me about this, because obviously I look at it from a political point of view, I know the Co-op's a non-political organisation, but you get people involved, they participate, they want to be here. You had a full house here tonight, you'll have the same in Guernsey, I feel sure. Why is it? What's the different about your process and other activities where you've got to mobilise people, get them to turn out? What's the different about the Co-op?
I think it's all about community, to be honest with you. Both islands have a strong island community, and we do reach out to the community, because without the shoppers we'd be nothing, and we realise that. If people didn't come into our shops, we'd be nothing. And so when we can give money back to people through charity donations, just through helping out or this, that and the other, it really gives back to the community. And we look after our staff, we look after employees, and we try and get the business. Obviously we are a business and we have to make tough decisions, but I think it's all about community at the end of the day.
The big unpleasant aspect for the last 6 months or so was the warehouse issue. That's all sorted. When does the new system come fully operational?
Well, if you go down to our Grouville store, our new Grouville store is now fully on to the new system, so you will see a lot of goods down there that you won't get in other Co-op stores. By the end of June, early July, all the stores will be on the new system. You'll see less gaps on the shelves. You'll see better quality of fresh food. And if you haven't been to a Co-op for a long time, I'd advise you to go down and take another look. The
states are talking about redundancies now and they're cost cutting. How many people actually finished out with no employment as a result of the closing of warehouses, or how many will finish out with no employment?
Well, the Guernsey warehouses have now closed, but the Jersey warehouse is still very much open and operating for business. That's a question I can't really answer until we get to July, August. Some people have taken redeployment in the society, but I went down there on Christmas Eve, and quite a few people down there are taking the payouts, which are quite generous, as an opportunity to set up their own businesses or do something different that they've always dreamed of doing. So necessarily losing your job, with some of them, is actually giving them the opportunity to aspire to something else.
There was talk, obviously, tonight hinted at about Ammo Grow, the demise of a substantial local grower, local supplier. How much can you get involved with the whatever business will get set up there? Because you're not into farming. But strange enough, in the UK, I understand, was a huge farmer, the Co-op in the UK. They've sold off their Co-ops, their farming interests.
Well, they have, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pushing the cooperative model, which is the cooperative way of doing business, not within the cooperative society, but by looking to try and educate Jersey business and other people about people's ability to set up cooperatives, because it would work well within the farming community and within a lot of other communities. And watch this space, because we've got a few interesting things in the pipeline.
Is it likely you have any financial interest in farming activities?
No, because I think we're the actual buyer of goods, but we are always conscious of the fact. Someone asked us tonight, why don't we push down the price of milk? Well, we're very conscious of the fact that farmers have to make a living at the end of the day, and that farmers are very important to Jersey's countryside, and you need to get the balance there. You need to make sure that you're putting the consumer first, but you're also looking after the producer as well.
You probably won't tell me, but there obviously was hinted at tonight moves in the medical area. Can you tell us any more about what's proposed in that?
Well, we've now pushed down the cost of medical care in the islands. As a result, some of our competitors have also expanded the offering for free care, which is brilliant, because we're actually forcing the industry to take another look at itself. And if this means lower and lower prices, that's great for the community. We're not in Guernsey yet because the legislation is completely different, but we would love to be in both islands.
Obviously, there's a huge area of health activities which this government would be very keen to offload into the private sector. Are you looking at any of those areas?
No, we're not at the moment, and to be honest with you, and this is more with my political hat on than anything else, there are actually areas where the public sector do it much better, and you've got to be quite careful what you offload and what you don't, and get the balance right. And when it comes to care, quite often the public sector do it much better than the private sector. You just mentioned the
word political, which is my favourite word in life, but there was one States member candidate for the board tonight. He didn't get elected. There are no States members, Jersey or Guernsey, on the board anymore. Is that a trend, do you think? I mean, obviously it's down to the electorate, but
Well, I think that's down to the electorate. They obviously prefer a board without States members, so I'll have to bear
Do you think
that
that's-
in mind if ever I decide to get back in the States.
also it was a joking reference. And the fact of the matter is the audience is elderly. It is an elderly turnout for these AGMs. Is that something that worries you as a retail organisation, that maybe you're failing to get to the younger market, if there is such a thing?
It does worry you a little bit. But Colin McLeod gave quite a long presentation on the fact how we're embracing Twitter and Facebook and the blogs and so on and so forth. We're bringing in new ways of trying to reach out to the community. We have to make sure that we stay, at least one step ahead of the competition. Technology is changing all the time. We've got plans to change with it, and so watch this space. Is
there anything happening within the cooperative movement in the UK which is going to affect what goes on here now?
Not really. We've just managed to get Peter Roffey and Jim Plumley. They've both been elected to the Cooperative Council, which means they'll sit on the Cooperatives Council in the UK, which is fantastic for us because it means that we've got some eyes and ears and a voice on the council. We're watching it with interest. They're voting on whether to move away from the Labour Party. That's going to be quite interesting because they've been sort of tied up to the Labour Party for so long. So we're just watching with interest at the moment.
The nearest I could see a commitment to politics in the publication, your AGM document, was a reference you support human rights. How close to supporting human rights activities could the co-op get in Jersey?
I think we support human rights, but it's quite interesting that the Cameron government are looking to actually distance themselves from the European Human Rights Bill. I think it's something that we'll watch with interest, but at the end of the day, we're not a political organisation, and we do believe in the rights of the individual. So I think probably more the rights of the individual rather than human rights, as a sort of blanket case.
Significantly also, there was no protest outside this year's AGM as there was last year. Is that matter fully resolved now?
Well, the protest last year was over Charing Cross, and we've offered to give 4 buildings to the National Trust. We're still waiting for them to accept the offer. If they don't accept the offer, then we'll do them up ourselves. We're committed to restoring those buildings. Premier Inn's going to be a great tenant. It's going to revitalise that area of town. It's a great result.
Okay, thanks very much. Many more I could ask you, but I won't ask you more.
No, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.